When LeBron first stepped into the league, the hype was loud, but the reality hit even harder.
I gave him the nickname Heaven Sent.
I knew he had the potential. I didn't think he was going to be where he is today.
Something about him, just the way he played.
You know, he coming to the league. I was like, man, let's see what this is about.
LeBron had grown 5 or 6 inches.
I watched him. I'm like, damn.
Folks figured they understood what was on the horizon, yet absolutely no one was properly prepared for the reality of the man. The moment his runners hit the NBA hardwood, everything changed. He was merely 18, but he didn't maneuver or compete like any adolescent anyone had ever witnessed. His physique alone appeared otherworldly. A first-year player constructed like a gridiron linebacker, massive shoulders, a solid chest, trunks like tree stumps, and the sort of grown man power you typically only observe in seasoned pros, not youngsters fresh out of secondary school. Opponents attempted to challenge him straight away, tried to body him. They attempted to apply that standard rookie pressure, but it failed completely. You'd check him and it felt like colliding with a concrete barrier. Excessive strength, rapid speed, and incredibly composed under duress. You would watch him driving the ball in transition. Even the seasoned veterans fellows who had defended legends for ages would retreat a half step, not out of fear, but because they realized this lad wasn't intimidated by a soul. And here's the truly wild bit. That identical sentiment transferred to the next generation of talent. Today's young athletes describe facing LeBron in the exact manner the old guard did. They were raised watching him on the telly, viewing the finals, the posters, the highlight reels, and then suddenly they are right there defending him. Some claim their hearts were pounding out of their chests. Others maintain they attempted to act nonchalant even whilst their nerves were absolutely screaming. Different eras, distinct players, identical reaction. Whether you were a vet in 2003 or a rookie in 2025, that initial moment standing opposite LeBron hits just the same. Wow, that is actually him, and no one ever forgets that. So let us dive into a list of NBA legends and athletes discussing the first time they competed against or even merely spotted LeBron James. We are kicking things off with someone who has been linked to LeBron since day one entered the association alongside him and still recalls that inaugural matchup like it occurred yesterday. When did you and LeBron begin playing one another and start forging a friendship? Right, so LeBron is a year 1 grade below me, totally unique. We played, and after Oak Hill defeated my squad the prior year, I thought, yo, I've got to compete against him. It is on the docket. We have him scheduled. We have to make it happen. I knew absolutely nothing. I had never laid eyes on him. None of that. Because back in those days, it was just a printed booklet, right? Man, we are talking about an era with no internet. You did not know who the top dog was until you saw him in the gymnasium. It was the Bob Gibbons report. You get what I'm saying. So whoever was featured in that center square, whoever was in that box, that was the #1 ranked player. That is who you are gunning for at that stage. So we grab our kits and we are playing in a primetime tournament, and he is walking into the hotel as we are arriving and he goes, "Yo, you are Melo. You know you are Melo." I replied, "Yeah." And we sat on the staircase. It was All-Star Weekend in Philly as well. So we sat on those steps for hours the evening prior to the match. I was like, "I do not know a thing about you, buddy. You do not know a thing about me." And we sat there for ages just hanging out and chatting, man. And we clicked from that specific instance. You follow. We just felt like we came from similar backgrounds. You understand, single-parent household, fractured family, raised in the neighborhood growing up. You know, it was a parallel narrative. So we connected based on that. Next in line is someone who played with relentless intensity, and he clocked something immediately the first time he encountered LeBron. The physicality did not rattle him in the slightest. Every collision, every check, LeBron just kept advancing like it was nothing. So for you, what was it like defending LeBron? And how did his game improve and evolve over the years? Man, I know. I recall being 15 years old back in Chicago, and he was there. Like Jordan was present. Barkley was a bit older. He was just getting his fitness back, but Jordan was putting in work. Michael Finley was around. Jerry Stackhouse was there. Antoine Walker was in his prime in 1999 or the year 2000. He was at his peak. So I spot LeBron strolling into the gym. Everyone is chatting about LeBron. I believe he was already on television by this time as well. So I see him. I did not play against him in his very first game, but I observed him. I am thinking, damn, 15-16. I believe he was there 2 years in a row if I'm not mistaken. Then I went up against him and he was on a fast break coming at full tilt just like he does now. And I thought I have no idea how I'm going to halt him because he is coming at full velocity, and he was around 225 pounds at this time. So as I attempted to grab him, he was still rising up, so I put him on the deck, right? So I put him on the floor and I was like, wow, that was a 15-year-old. He was already prepared. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if I had not put him on the floor, he was going straight through me. Yeah, you get it. And then playing against him in the first match, he dropped 25 on me. Damn, 25 points. And that was back when nobody was really getting that many. You understand, not in my prime. And I thought, yo, this guy is the genuine article. so I always gave him his props. But when I competed against him, I tried to battle, and then I remember him, he gave me 25. He asked, "Is this your top defender?" He said that to the crowd in Indiana, and I was livid. Like, I was absolutely boiling. You know what I mean? I am thinking this in my head. I am thinking this is a generational scorer. Someone who could identify real talent instantly. He witnessed the flashes straight away, even if he could not fully predict that the teenager standing before him would develop into one of the greatest athletes the sport has ever known. Also, you were not entirely sold on LeBron when you first faced him, were you? Like, did you see that this fellow is going to be the chosen one? He is going to be one of the all-time greats. I knew he possessed potential. I did not think he would be where he is today. No, I did not believe he was going to have that sort of career. I mean, I knew the lad was good. He was very talented, but to think that he would be one of the greatest, arguably the best to ever play the sport. No, not at that moment. No, you do not foresee that. But you guys faced one another, Orlando and the Cavs, on Christmas Day. Yeah, that was back then. He was a rookie. He was a first-year player at the time. And what did you think? Again, the lad was good. The kid at the time, I am calling him a kid because he was 18 years of age. But he was truly skilled. But even then, I still did not reckon he was going to be arguably the greatest player of all time. There is another legend who recalls hearing all the noise about this kid from Akron, the highlights, the headlines, the hype that sounded exaggerated. He will admit he did not think LeBron was that special initially until he witnessed it up close in person. One look was sufficient to change his mind rapidly. I remember being at my first All-Star game in Philly, and we are in the dressing room and speaking to journalists, and they were asking, "Man, have you guys heard of this lad?" The chatter was like, "Have you heard of this kid named LeBron James? Man, this kid is a secondary school phenomenon. He is so talented he could likely start in this All-Star game." And I was like, so I sat up and said, "What?" I am looking around thinking, there goes AI, Garnett, Shaq, Jordan. Like, this kid, I had to really sit up. They kept saying there is a kid out there in high school this good. I was like, hold on. And they had no Instagram, so I could not just check. Let me see where you had to physically go watch him. Yeah, and I saw a lot of NBA guys were flying out to see this player, celebrities, rappers, Jay-Z, and all of them traveling to see him play. So I am thinking, man, this kid must be decent, but I do not think he is that asterisk good, And then just to observe the pressure that was placed on him entering the league and to live up to those expectations, because they were saying he could be the greatest to ever play the game. And you are like, man, they are giving this kid this title already. He arrived with the nickname King from the get-go. I have never seen that outside of Magic. Coming into the league with a nickname. Usually you earn that whilst you are in the league. He is coming into the association. I was like, man, let us see what this is all about. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going at him. I am attacking him early, We are dropping 40 on each other. Boom, boom, boom. And I just was not ready to call a young cat of 21 or 22 king. He is going to have to earn this for sure. And so for him to live up to it and probably surpass the expectations, that is tough because nobody in our league has ever had to cope with these types of expectations coming in. Then we shift to one of the most confident, fearless players of the 2000s, someone who analyzed LeBron's game from day one and understood the danger early on. Yeah, we were playing against a young, inexperienced, he entered as a shooting guard. Right, so he came in as a 2-guard. I absolutely torched him at shooting guard. Then he grew? Yeah, right. I recall in the playoffs, that first year, Antoine guarded him, right? And then we came into the playoffs and he is, posting up and he is taller than Antoine. I turned to the coach and said, "Hey, Skip, did this lad hit a growth spurt? I swear he wasn't this big before." I'm thinking, geez, he's absolutely massive compared to the other fellas now. So we decided we better stick Jared on him, eh? Jared is a big boy, 6'11". We tried everything in the book. It was just one of those nights where you realize, yeah, if we're going to beat this guy, we got to do it now because once he gets smarter and stronger, we are completely hosed. Come playoff time, some of the boys felt LeBron's presence from the perimeter, but others saw it up close and personal. One guard was absolutely gobsmacked by how much bigger and tougher LeBron was than everybody else. Even one of the biggest legends to ever lace him up walked away thinking the same thing. This kid was a freak of nature. I remember the first time facing him in a real tilt. He was just a monster compared to everyone at his spot. Me and T-Mac were riding the pine because, back then he was looking to pass first. He was unselfish, so we thought we better rough him up now because once he figures this game out, we don't stand a chance. And wouldn't you know it, in that playoff game, it clicked for him. He dropped 25 straight points on our heads. Shot clock winding down to 6. He goes behind the back, ties the game at 104. He's just too skilled. I looked at Tay and said, "Bud, he figured it out. That might have been the last time we get to push LeBron James around because this kid is about to run the league." I recall one time we were in Cleveland, scooped up one of my buddies. He asks where we headed. I said, "You gotta see this young buck play." He goes, nah, I need some food. I said, no, seriously, you gotta check this kid out. He's asking who. I'm like, bud, he's on Sports Illustrated already. So we pull into the local barn and Cleveland Place is jammed. I see this kid and I haven't seen a high schooler dominate like that since I was coming up. I said to myself, he could turn pro right now, eh? Next up is a defensive specialist who never backed down from a scrap. Even he has the beauty of a story about the first time he tried to shut down LeBron. My run-in with LeBron. It's a funny one because I wasn't getting any ice time. I was barely getting minutes just sitting on the bench for this specific game. But then I get the call. Tie game about 4 seconds left on the clock. LeBron gets the rock. Remember that feed he got in Washington? He catches one of those fades away, turns around, drains the winner. Yeah, he pulled that same move in Boston. When they subbed me in, I had those 4 seconds and then I sat right back down. Hey, I was like, darn it. But I was so pumped for that shift. I was absolutely buzzed because everyone was talking about LeBron this, LeBron that. So when I checked in and forced the stop, I watched it miss and looked up saying, great DT. He just takes his mouth guard out, looks back and says, man, I just missed that one. Now let's go way back to AAU to a fella who played LeBron in grade 7 and watched him transform over a single summer. LeBron was in grade 7 at the AAU Nationals. I've got that game on tape. It's always been hilarious to me hearing the outside chatter about LeBron early in his career. Everyone wanted him to be the next Kobe or Jordan. I told them, you guys don't get it. This lad was a point guard. That's who I was matched up against, but he was a point guard who could jump out of the gym. So on the tape, you see him dishing dimes, but then you also see him getting his head above the rim in grade 7, right? Funny story. It was me, Indy Kendrick Perkins, all of us on the Houston squad. The very next year, we're checking into the hotel for nationals. LeBron and his crew are standing outside, and Bron had grown like a weed 5 or 6 inches. Big Perk is like, yo, is that the same guy? And I said, yeah, bud, that's the same fella. We knew right then it was a wrap. Everything you see, the vision, the handles, the playmaking he had, all that at 6'2" or 6'3". Now you're telling me this guy can do it at 6'7". We knew it was game over. That was before the Sports Illustrated article called him the chosen one. We already knew. Here's a young star who grew up watching LeBron on the tube, copying his moves, and then suddenly found himself guarding him on the big stage. That moment hits different when the legend is standing right in front of you. The first shot I ever took in a game, I set a pick for Kai. Slipped the screen. Kai tossed me a floater and I thought I was wide open. I'm thinking, okay, gonna get my first bucket, settle the nerves. Man, I tried to lay it in. I don't know where Bron came from. He came and swatted that thing into the 5th row. I got nothing. Didn't score a point until the second half. Didn't get my first bucket until way later. Was that your welcome to the NBA moment? Oh, for sure, bud. My first shot attempt, LeBron came out of nowhere. Next is a player who stepped on the floor against LeBron as a rookie and learned real quick the difference between watching him and trying to stop him. The speed, the strength, the hockey sense. It was a whole new level up close. My rookie year was around Christmas, I think. I wasn't getting any playing time. So rookie year, I'm riding the pine mostly. Driving to the arena, I hadn't played in 3 or 4 games. It's been a minute. I was just, sitting there watching. I'm driving in, talking to my old man. Lakers versus Celtics. They've been hyping this tilt all week. Seriously. We had practice on Monday, and the vibe was, this is Lakers Celtics, let's go. Like, we gotta win this game. But I haven't played all week. I'm not playing today. Yeah, for real. I told him, Dad, I know how this goes. I'm not getting in. End of the first quarter, I'm standing at the back of the huddle watching Brad Stevens draw up a play, just chilling, and he goes, knee get JT. Me, yeah. I said, are you serious? I was like, okay then. So I take my warm-up shirt off. I sit down at the scorer's table. Again, I haven't played in a week, eh? I check in, head to the corner, waiting for the Lakers to come out. Here comes LeBron running straight at me. He does that little trot of his. He comes right over to me. And I'm thinking, oh boy. He trots over while I'm in the corner. Play starts. JB is coming my way. I go to run at him to fake a backdoor cut. Yeah. Man, LeBron is at the block and bumps me right in the chest. He says, bud, you haven't played in a week. You aren't getting the ball the first second you check in. I'm not even talking back to him. You said it, bud. So I run through to the other side. Play ends. We go down the ice again. Boom, whatever. I play my 4 or 5 minutes and come out. Then LeBron is chirping at my teammate. Yeah, he's talking to the guy guarding him. There was a timeout. He's standing right in front of our bench. Ball is at the other end. He says, here's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to hold the rock right here. Throw my hand up. Tell him to pass it to the hand. I'm going to put my right leg over yours, fade away, and it's going to be nothing but net. About 30 seconds later, catches it right there. Throws the hand up. Boom. Bucket, trots right back down. I said, oh my God, that guy is something else. Different level. Then you've got a vet who practiced with LeBron when he was still a rookie and knew right away this wasn't a normal 18-year-old. The mindset was mature, the body was ready, and the confidence was already dialed in. What do you remember from LeBron's rookie season? 2004, different? I gave him a nickname, Heaven Sent. Like the big man upstairs said, here you go. You don't get that good that early, eh? Yeah, right out of the gate. 18, fresh out of high school. Nobody thought I was like, no way, man. He can't be that good yet. He's gonna be good in the league, sure, but man, I'm in practice with this lad. I'm like, whoa, he was the real deal. And I'm talking as a young buck. As a kid, he knew it. He had a great feel for the game, athletic, could get to his spot whenever he wanted. You know he was unique. That's why I called him Heaven Sent. Like God just said, you're the guy, bud. Yeah. The build, the athleticism, everything. That was the first time I ever got released, man. He took my spot. I was like, damn, he's barely a kid. Oh yeah, he's tipping the scales at 260. I'm standing there like, holy smokes, man. Then you had those early Cleveland teammates. One guy saw the nonstop hustle every single day. The other saw how easily LeBron just slotted in with the seasoned vets. Both realized pretty quick this wasn't your average rookie at all. You never really know, eh? A kid fresh out of high school, even though the hype was like nothing we'd ever seen in the NBA. And, you know, I'm a pro, I'm in the league, played college ball, whatever. We hear the noise about LeBron saw him play a couple times in high school, and he looks decent against the competition. So you're thinking, oh, sure, he'll be able to play and compete. We get him to the gym for practice. He gets the rock. He drives the baseline and literally hurdles Milt Palacio, like leaped right over him, legs spread, laid it in. I'd never seen anything like that in person, bud. I heard stories about MJ, heard stories about Dr. J. But I'm witnessing an 18-year-old kid jump over a 6'5" point guard and finish the layup taking off from outside the paint. And on top of that, right off the hop, we knew he was our best player. He passed the ball. He blew past guys. He wanted to draw the defense and kick it out. He made the game so much easier and a total blast to play. Right away, we knew he was the top dog. I remember the first run I went down there. I walk into the gym and they stick me with the side guys, you know, the extras. Meanwhile, he keeps his crew. His high school squad, they went to states 4 years in a row. They really knew how to play together. So I take the rest of the guys and they're on my team. I'm checking LeBron, I'm going right at him, and honestly, he wasn't really shutting me down or anything, but there was something about him, just the way he played, the way they flowed, and how he orchestrated everything. Then last game, he's at the top of the key. He tries to pull back, and I'm draped all over him, smothering him. He shoots the three. I get past him, hand right on the ball. He adjusts mid-air cash. Game over. I said, yep, he's one of them. You knew he was built different the second that happened. Yeah, when my homeboy was there, because I used to call the boys back home and be like, man, there's this dude named LeBron James. Probably the best high school player I've ever seen. They're like, no way, bud. He ain't better than you. I'm arguing with my own people. I'm like, no, listen, this guy's putting it between his legs and dunking. He's doing it all. There was also a tough defender who tried to test young LeBron early on, got physical, tried to send a message, and LeBron just laughed it off. That's when he knew this guy was a different breed. The night before you played him the first time, were you like, we'll see what's up with this dude? Or did you already know? I'm gonna run a quick diagnostic. I'm gonna find out. But I wasn't one of those guys chirping like LeBron wasn't on my level, saying, we'll see if LeBron can hang. That would just be stupid. But I'm still gonna check you, you know? I remember it clearly. He was cutting through and I gave him a shot right to the solar plexus as we crossed under the basket. I popped him, asterisk bang asterisk, just to see what he'd do, and he looked at me and just kind of chuckled. I was like, oh, okay then. He was just massive and unfazed, just laughed at me. Honestly, I don't know what surprised me more, the fact that I gave him a solid shot and he took it, or that he just laughed. Now we jump to a legend who entered the league before LeBron and instantly noticed how complete his game was, thinking this guy isn't that young. He's got a seasoned game experience, great feel. He was the first guy out of high school who didn't need to ease his way in, came in making a massive splash, asserted himself immediately, let everyone know he was the real deal. To be that young was so impressive. He was a nightmare to guard. Even back then, maybe he wasn't fully there on defense yet, but a great player right out of the gate. Way ahead of schedule. And of course, there's someone who shares deep history with LeBron and knew from their very first matchup that his talent was on another level. So the first time I saw LeBron play, let me tell you a story. I remember seeing LeBron for the first time on this TV special. He was a junior, had this little afro babyface squeaky voice. I remember listening to the interview and hearing him say if he could challenge the rule to enter the NBA after his junior year, he would. I thought, look at this cocky little keener, thinks he can leave high school early and play in the league. Then he had that game on ESPN with Dick Vitale, the first high school game we all saw. I tuned in like everyone else just to see what this guy was all about. 3 minutes in, I was like, oh, okay, this dude is good. Like, he's on another level. He was a total star. To perform like that when the moment was so big and make it look that easy, you knew he was a star. So tell me, what's your favorite LeBron story? Make sure to like, share, subscribe, drop